Hi, it's John Glynn. In this session I'm going to be looking at the layers panel with creating a new group, which is this one in the top of the layers panel. You should have your background picture open with a little thumbnail for layers, and you put your mouse at the top and I'll click it once and it will have create a new group. Okay, so we're going to create a new group. Now the purpose of creating a group is to manage all the different things you may be doing in layers, especially if you're doing lots in layers. So I'm going to just do a very quick group, a couple of groups, so that you get an understanding of what this is all about. So I'm going to go to the background image and duplicate the layer. This is just using a PC as normal with a mouse. So it's right mouse key, left mouse key, and I've now got a background copy. And I'm just using Photoshop Elements 20, but this is on all versions of Photoshop. And I'm going to go to Edit. Oh no, I'm not. I'm going to go to Enhance actually. So in Enhance I'm going to convert to black and white and just say OK, because it's just a process. And I'm going to also create a levels and say just change the levels a little bit just to show that I've done something, and say fine. So I've now got a background, and I'm actually going to link that to the black and white picture. It might be that that's actually also changed the color photo, so if I have that on, it's not only impacting the black and white picture, but it's impacting the color picture below it. So to stop it impacting the original image, I'm going to link this level to the layer below. So I'm going to turn on this layer so it's black and white, so they're both on. Put my mouse inside this particular levels layer, click the right mouse key, and I'm just going to say create clipping mask. So it's only going to work with the picture below and not the one below it, if you like. So it only works with the black and white picture and not the picture below that. So if I turn off these, even if I have this these off, this picture at the bottom, the base, is no longer being impacted by this level. Okay, it's only impacting the black and white. Okay, so that's the point of doing a clipping. It may be that on top of that I will now want to do some more effects. So I'm just on a black and white option, but I go back to my background copy and this time duplicate the layer again and say OK, and this time I'm going to drag it all the way up to the top. So I've got my black and white options below, and I've got a new background copy 2. There was background copy 1, background copy 2, and this time I'm going to do again I'll do a hue and saturation. So I'm going to change the saturation, I'm going to change the hue as well, just so that's completely different. And again I will do another layer on top of that, and I'll do a levels layer just because I can, and play around with that. So I've got some really weird looking picture. Okay, so now I've got 3 layers. Okay, I'm ignoring the bottom one, but I can turn them off, and I'm still seeing this top, because at the bottom here it's not relevant because I've already got a background copy. Okay, so I don't have to actually link these to this background copy if it's not going to impact anything below it, and it's not, because I can't see past this background copy because it's in the way. Okay, obviously if I turn it off, then I can see the black and white version below it. So that's something to be aware of. Now what I may want to do is, just because here, if I was going through them, and I'd have to turn everything on and off to see what the ones below are like, turn them back all on again to get back to where I started from, and it all becomes a bit of a faff. So as a simple way of managing them all, I can select them. So if the top one is highlighted and I hold down the shift key on my keyboard, I can highlight a group, and by highlighting a group I can now put them into a group. So by going to this option up here, which is create a new group, I can click it, and I've now got group 1. Now I can rename it, So I can double click inside group 1 and I can call it hue H and S for hue and saturation. Okay, and I can now turn it on and off easily with just one magic eye. I can see them all if I wish to by going to, there's a little funny arrow which if I click on that will give me a drop down of the hue and saturation and levels and the original picture, the background picture too, and I can still work on them. Okay, I can still change all that if I wish to, and I can change the levels as well if I wish to. Okay, I've got all that as still an option, but if I want to I can just click on that funny little arrow and that will close them up, and I can click the little eye and that will turn it off. Even if they're open, if that little eye is off, they're off, even though I can see them open. It's that little eye which is the actual switch, not these individual ones, so I don't have to turn them on and off. I can just do it through one, so it's very quick. And it might be that I would do the same with the black and white as well, because then again it saves me turning them on and off to see where I am. Okay, so to do that, what I'm going to do is highlight this layer, which is the levels layer, and the black and white picture. I'll just again hold the shift key down to create a new group, and again it works in exactly the same way. You can turn it on and off, you can do a little drop down and see them both there, or you can close it up and again you can give it a name, and in this case it would be D and W, so it's black and white. Okay, and you can just turn them on and off from that basis. So the advantage of all of this is that you can very quickly manipulate your picture without having to have all of this open and trying to wade your way through them. So I think it's purely about file management really, and making it as easy as possible to manage various layers, and where you've done lots of different things to different parts of the picture, you can hone them together. Okay, and it makes it much easier to find. So you can have a go with this particular create a new group, but if you create lots of different layers and different jobs, as I've done here with the black and white layer and then a hue and saturation option as well, and so on. So you could do quite a few different ones and have them all in different groups, one above the other. Okay, and if you start with a background, you can duplicate the background as I did, and each time you do that you've eventually got a new area to work on. So it's quite a good way of working. Okay then, thanks very much for watching.